Welcome back to Critical Flick. Today we'll be reviewing Eurovision Song Contest, the Story of Fire Saga from its new comedy from Netflix.
The film stars Will Ferrell and Rachel McAdams, and it had a very interesting trailer to start off.
Yeah, so I had no idea that this movie ever existed, and apparently it was meant to be the companion for the Eurovision Song Contest that ended up getting delayed because of COVID and everything going on, so Netflix picked it up and it just gets released there. But I didn't know this movie existed.
This film's about two singers from Iceland wanting to compete in Eurovision.
Yeah, and I was really watching this, and I was like, okay, sometimes Will Ferrell's a little hit or miss. I don't really know. I like his early stuff a lot, but I think this has some classic Will Ferrell moments to me. And I thought it had some really good laugh out loud moments, but overall, it's kind of dumb, but it's dumb in a good way, in my opinion.
It's very dumb, but there, like Brian said, there are some laugh out funny moments, and one person in particular I thought kind of stole it a little bit was Dan Stevens.
Oh my gosh. He plays this Russian singer, and it's just, every time he's on scene, it just steals it from me, because when I think of Dan Stevens, I think of a more serious side. I think of Downton Abbey, I think of The Guest, and seeing him as this kind of goofy, like flamboyant-esque big pop star from Russia, it just, I don't know, something about it. When he was on screen, I just could not stop laughing.
I like that they had the filming locations. You can tell they filmed in Iceland, and we've definitely been to Iceland.
Yeah, we went to Iceland a few years ago, so it was really interesting to see that landscape, see back being at Reykjavik and places like the Black Sand Beach around Vik and all that stuff, and you could tell that they filmed it actually on location. And that's something that's really unique about Iceland, is they've filmed a lot of movies there. So it's kind of cool having a story that actually is about Iceland. It's not being like some planet in Star Wars or his own place in Game of Thrones. It's an actual movie about Iceland.
But overall, this movie is a very straight, like cookie cutter competition type film.
Yeah.
That you've seen multiple times. It does definitely have that Will Ferrell edge to it. Like, it's very Will Ferrell.
And it's funny because we've seen this from Will Ferrell before, whether it be Blades of Glory, Talladega Nights, Semi-Pro. It's like competitive underdog story of the goofy, larger-than-life Will Ferrell character. And he plays that so well. There's a reason why he's done it so many times.
Yeah.
Is that he's really funny. I mean, you can tell when he's just kind of riffing. It's the funniest moments when he kind of just says insane stuff that you're not expecting.
This movie does sit just at like 2 hours long. I did feel like it dragged in some moments where like, I didn't feel like it needed to be 2 hours long.
Well, the one thing, I actually learned about this recently watching an interview about Will Ferrell and his acting styles, and his movies are pretty long. Like Anchorman 2 is a really long movie. He has some longer comedies, and apparently he does that on purpose, and it has to do with layering. So like there's things that you wouldn't see the first time you watch the movie. So that's why with a lot of Will Ferrell movies, honestly, when I watch it the second, third, fourth times, I like them more. That's why a movie like Step Brothers or something like that I watch, you go back and you see something and you find funnier gags in it because they're constantly joking in these movies. I was honestly a little impressed by Rachel McAdams' comedic ability.
Oh yeah, she definitely played off really well against Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
They did have Icelandic type accents where Will Ferrell's always went in and out and he'd sound like Will Ferrell, which
there was moments where I really thought he sounded like Tommy Wiseau more than an Icelandic person, but they're committed to it. It's kind of strange seeing them speak that way, and it adds to the comedic factor of it. But at the end of the day, it had some elements to it I wasn't expecting. Solid comedy, a lot of heart to it.
Yeah, it does have heart, and it also has a lot of singing in it because it is a competition show, and you can Will Ferrell definitely did his voice. Rachel McAdams did some of the singing in the movie. Dan Stevens didn't do any of it just from the timing it was filmed and production issues. So they had to use other singers and artists to do that. But overall, I thought it was pretty decent.
Yeah, I thought the music was actually really good by the end. I think the last song's really good.
Yeah.
I also like that you get some of the people from Eurovision Contest, like the actual real quality singers. So you get Will Ferrell being goofy singing. Then you get some real, high caliber, best in Europe singers in this movie as well.
Yeah.
So you get the best of both worlds. You get the comedic elements of this movie as well as maybe what Eurovision fans would want from it. I mean, I've never watched the Eurovision Song Contest.
I have no idea.
I'm just an American that doesn't know anything about it. But I think if someone maybe who is actually really invested in this competition would find some of it interesting.
I'd give this movie a 6.5 out of 10. It wasn't bad. Like, it was a good Netflix streaming movie. Now, if I saw it in theater, maybe,
I don't know if it would change my opinion.
Yeah, maybe change. But, last night we watched it. You just chilled, you relaxed. It was kind of funny. And then during these times, we need some laughter.
Yeah.
And I actually thought it was a good step up for Will Ferrell. Like, I haven't seen him like this.
Yeah, the last movie I watched with him was that skiing movie, which wasn't great, and then before that was The House, which was okay. But I like that this felt like a movie where they were like, okay, he wants to do it. Apparently, he was really invested in it. He loved the Eurovision. He went to visit it. And he like wanted to make this movie. So you could tell it was something he was really passionate about. It didn't feel like a throwaway role. So I would also give the movie a 6.5 out of 10. It's not the top tier, amazing, best Will Ferrell movies ever. No. But I think, you know, for a comedy that kind of just gets thrown up, it's in the flux, and it's about something that's kind of unique and different. Like, how often do you see something about something so specific and niche like this?
No.
So I did think that it was a quality movie with a lot of heart, you know? So that sums up a review for Eurovision Song Contest. Let us know what you thought about in the comments down below. Did you think that it was just too over the top and goofy, or did you think it had a lot of nice laugh out loud moments and some quality times to be had? You know? So let us know what you think about that down below. Remember to like and subscribe, and see you guys next time.
Bye.